Do it.
You can do what you want. Yeah, yeah.
I'll do it in a hidden manner.
You do whatever. Yeah, like we're already live. Yeah, in the end, right? Yeah, you determine what you do. I can't control you, right? Yeah. So let's get to it. You think about which how you wanna what you want to do. Yeah, I've done it before. I've just been pressed for time. Let's get to the business, folks. Right now, we're here today to talk about corruption and public housing activism. This is a very, there's a lot of suspicion in this field, which there should be. The fact of the matter is that you know that you're outnumbered. You're like as in terms of money dollars. People have seen that the system's been failing for a long time. People have died. I actually will show later on who I've contacted. I just spoke yesterday with Michael Centrone. His son is dead now, 23 years of age, at Reese Houses. There are other people that are getting sick and have died, but since they have died, there's been no addressment of that. People are dying. The corruption is still going on. The largest bust in DOJ history happened recently with 70 I think NYCHA employees getting arrested. The corruption is out of control. We're here to talk today with other people impacted. I know a lot of people are scared to come on. I get it. It's a hot topic, but residents need to protect themselves. So we're going to make that happen. So first, we're going to start by introducing everybody themselves, how they're relevant to this conversation. And we're going to start from top left. I guess I went first, right? Yeah. On my screen, I have, it says Anita. So go ahead. Why don't you introduce yourself and, where you are in this.
Hi, I'm Anita. I'm very grateful to be here today. Nice to meet all of you. I've been living in housing, public housing for 10 years, and I think it's really helped myself. And prior to that, I've always lived in regular housing. But, for whatever reason, the public housing is where I am right now. And I've actually been trying, even prior to what we're facing today, I've actually always seen like a lack of cohesiveness in the public housing world. Like, for example, there's a lot of programs, but they don't seem to be connecting with the tenants. So I'm just...
Okay, we're going to get to some of those things. Just to mention a couple other just notes. We have talked off screen, like, in a couple of conversations. She actually lives in Douglas Houses. So that's very interesting because Carmen Quinones is the tenant association president. Like I've told you, I think Carmen Quinones is probably the most high profile tenant association president in the NYCHA system, or one of them. She's definitely up there, in my opinion, right? Does the rest of the panel agree? Do you say that Carmen Quinones is one of the most, well-known tenant association presidents? Yeah, you guys would agree with that? So the fact that you're there, I think, is actually quite relevant for the conversation. There's also with the fraud case, I know someone from Douglas Houses went down, I believe, or there was someone implicated at that. So we're going to see how this all plays out. It's very interesting. Another thing that you told me before was that you've been in public housing for 10 years. Your son is, how old is your son? About 10 years old?
He's 11.
He's lived his whole life in public housing. Interesting, right? Almost?
Yeah, I mean, he was an infant when, yes, pretty much.
There's some generational questions about what's going on with the property and your ability to pass that on to your son, right? Yeah, and other. Yes. So some people have lived there for generations, and they're about to be displaced. It's also one more thing that I believe is regarding to your case is you said you were in a housing court. Yeah, are you taking on the NYCHA? You're suing them right now. Is something going on with that?
I'm not suing, meaning I just am there for HP repairs. Pretty up to date with my rent. So there's no issue in terms of that. Just a lot of violations, which I have, proven over and over again. And that's what's happening. But there is a deceivement going around in terms of them recognizing the repairs. And also, the bottom line is they don't want any documentation for whatever reason that our roof needs to be replaced, because many of us are having falling ceilings and yada yada. And also, our building is leaning, it's unstable as per the Department of Buildings. And it has to be either going through a construction process or demolition. And we haven't had a proper plumbing inspection since 2007, as per the Department of Inspection reports.
All right, so we're going to get to some of that stuff, but it's very interesting to hear about those stuff. Thank you for that, right? Yeah, I believe there's a lot of people having problems with repairs. This is a huge problem. Miss Emily Johnson, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Emily Johnson. I live in Carver Houses. Community activist, member of CVH. It's been in NYCHA since 1970.
Wait, what's CVH?
Community Voices Heard.
Oh, okay, go ahead. All right. You've also
And
you've done so much more. Oh my goodness. Go
I
ahead.
know it's a long list, but also been the vice president of Tenants Association. All those good things. To try to uplift the community as well. Um, I've been I've had like housing issues, little minor housing issues and things of that nature, nothing major. My development is in the process of being readjusted, I should say. But been doing this for over 10 years, way over.
You also have an association with 700 Democrats and stuff. Yeah.
700 strong as well, yes.
Yeah, I see they've been involved. Yeah, they're pretty strong, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Very
All right, cool.
much so.
Christopher Leon Johnson, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hey, my name
Yeah,
is
I can hear
Christopher
you.
Leon Johnson. I'm a media person. I don't say I'm a journalist. I just do media, do photography, do videography. I'm heavy in politics. Is my main niche, and that's me in a nutshell. I mean, following this nice story with some people got arrested, and you know that's the thing. I mean, that's what I'm happy about. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. You know.
Okay. So the thing is that I have a list of people that we're supposed to talk about in this particular session. I think it was, I don't know how comprehensive it was. If you feel like there's something that you want to get addressed, feel free to put it in the chat. How many people are watching right now? I see one person watching. I thought there would be more. It's all good. I think people will eventually watch this. I think this is a hot topic. People want to know what we said about them. That's 100%. Yeah. So the first one on the list was actually recently Christopher Leon Johnson gave a speech at the Environmental Assessments Board. I think that was going on at Fulton Chelsea. And he actually, I think right on the top of this was Save Section 9. This is actually quite a popular rallying cry at the moment, Save Section 9. And you said that they were corrupt and tied to the developers. Christopher, this is my, right, I really didn't dig so much more. I'm interested in learning more. Oh, Brandy from maybe Tennessee may be joining. Okay, she liked it. Okay, so I saw 12 L's might be trying. Maybe there's a limit on how many people I can have inside this conversation. I don't know. Yeah, I hope not. But I could move it to Google Meet, but really I'll try to keep it here. But maybe other people are trying to join. Maybe it's limited to 4. I don't know. I have been having monetary problems and I can no longer afford the Zoom. So I'm learning new softwares. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's the struggle of being active like me. Oh, well. Anyways, so the fact of the matter is that Christopher Leon Johnson called out Save Section 9. Does anybody have any information about Save Section 9 or questions or concerns? Because I could tell you my experience, but I want to hear from y'all first. What are the types of developers? Chris, you have the main beef, right? How do you know what's up?
Hello?
Chris, yeah, Chris, what you accuse Save Section 9, right? Like, how do you know they're tied to developers and all this? So, like, this is my first time hearing. I want to know for myself.
Well, I mean, you got to look at the money. I mean, to keep it real with you guys, like you have to look how the money, how it's getting. I mean, you got to look at why they fighting like that. Why they allow Amanda Septimo to sponsor their trips. You got to look at stuff like that. That's how you got to look at it.
I went on one of those trips. Okay, that's true. Okay, yeah, they got quite a bit of money for that trip. Okay, but I mean, technically, was it the worst thing? Like to go to DC and actually lobby like Congress and take residents there themselves, actual residents, to talk to the legislators? I mean, that seems kind of is that really bad? I'm a little not sure. Okay, so can you tell me like why is that a problem?
Amanda's for the developer. I mean, Amanda's part of the Bronx Democratic machine. So you got to look at it.
Maybe that's true, but like if they're actually going to actual residents got to go down there, they weren't asking to get rid of their homes and stuff. They were asking to save their homes. I mean, so it did provide a way for residents to get access to federal legislators. So yeah. Look, they might have ties, but was that trip specifically bad? Like maybe it wasn't perfect, but they also did they have, I think the literature that I saw was, so here's another thing, right? They're doing a lot of lobbying for funding, federal funding for public housing, right? Do you want the money or do you not want the money? I mean, like kind of like lobbying for the money, I think that's a good thing. So even if the money's going to developers, yeah, that's bad. Unfortunately, that's kind of what happens, right? The money goes in and then it gets sucked into the wrong places. And yeah, there's some problematic forces behind that, but do we want the funding or not? I think we want the funding. Any other particular, go ahead. Yeah.
Of course, you would want the funding. The whole thing is that if you're going to go to Washington, that's just like when I go to Albany. It's either go big or go home. If you're going to ask for change, that's what they're going to give you. But if you're going to go there, you're going to go there with the intent of at least getting some type of, I would say, definitive answer to what it is that they're willing to do. And then you can negotiate to the point where, at least if you're meeting in the middle, it's not a total waste. You don't want to go and just be lobbying. That's not it. They're not going to pay attention to it because they're going to just be, okay, people are just coming there. They want a voice and they'll look at it and they'll shrug it off.
Okay. I could actually answer that. I'll chip in a little bit of insider information. Now, the fact of the matter is that before, I think AOC had come out with some plan for Green NYCHA, where I think she asked for a specific number, like 4 billion or 40 billion or something. That was some specific number. And I remember that when they went to DC, they had lined it up with that number. So I always was wondering, like, are they connected to AOC somehow? Or are they kind of like a back door to try to come in somehow, to try to push her plan, by the way, which I think also have issues with. Things that I'm, like the way that they're pushing the environmental, like the electric heaters and coolers before, right? The mold, which is actually sending people to the hospital, right? People are coming in like, oh, we're going to save the environment. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, I'm dying of like, the mold, like the roof is leaking, right? Yeah. The building's falling over. You know what I mean? Like, well, what about taking care of that stuff? But no, it's time to roll out the brand new, who's making money off of that? Once again, right? So Christopher Leon Johnson, you're right. There's very valid concerns there. But still fighting for the money, like who else is doing it? So, right. Once again, I say like poor people, right? Yeah. Rich people get nutritious food, right? Yeah. But poor people, sometimes we don't get that. Sometimes we get processed food. Sometimes we get other things with problems like high sodium. We got to a lot of poor people's cooking is developed from taking the bad parts, the leftovers, and finding a way to make it work, So, right, Safe Section 9 might not be perfect. Hey, I'm mad at you. Maybe there are reasons for concern there, right? Yeah. What about Septimo? She's running from me. Every time I try to talk to her, she's running away. So I really can't learn anything about her, because every time I see her, she really runs in the opposite direction. I swear to God, it's true. I appreciate her funding that trip, though. I mean, it's better than building a stadium. You know what I mean? Like, she funded a trip to DC. I mean, like, I don't feel so bad about that. Maybe she is part of the developers, but I'll be honest, Chris, like, I can't really, but I'm glad to listen to and find out what's going on. Any other particular issues?
Nah.
Okay.
I mean,
RPP.
Other than the people that got
RPPH. Oh, who got arrested?
RPPH. Let me say right now, RPPH, to be real.
Okay.
RPPH, the guy that really runs it, really organizes it, he's back with Carmen Rivera. And you know what, Carmen Rivera, she gets money from developers, and she was responsible for East River Park. So it's just a lot of things with Dowling Trees. So
okay, one of the things, here's another interesting issue, right? Yeah. The thing is that, remember that Marquez is a district leader, right? So the thing is that in the system, he's come up within the county committee. Now, county committees are arranged by election district, where within like maybe a 2-block radius, right? He's won his county committee seat and he's there. Now, there's twisted incentives here, because even though I do like a lot of things that when he goes to a public hearing and he says something, it usually sounds good, right? Yeah. He doesn't want other people running against him in competition for his seat. So he's not really trying to locally, and I can understand like what reasonable person would, right? He's trying to defend what he believes in. But, if he's out there, mobilizing his community to become like running for county committee, they're going to like be competing with him. So like, there's also those twisted incentives. So one thing that I've noticed is that, like, when I run my block program to run people from public housing we're about to talk about Carmen Quinones. Okay. That's why people like to attack Carmen Quinones. But once again, she was a former district leader. She is the tenant association president. Not saying that she's perfect, but she's done things to really elevate herself and make herself part of the conversation. That's what more people need to do, straight up. So Marquez is not perfect. He's never pushed the Rep My Block to empower other people. And I really feel that's the one thing I think he comes up short. There's other things like getting other candidates together, like presidential candidates. We're about to have a presidential candidate forum to address the issues in public housing in New York City. But, I don't see Marquez really pushing those things. It's always his hearings within his own little closed loop within the Carla Rivera cloud, covered by the same press people. There is that connection a little bit. And I do sense that, and I do feel that. And I hope that other people start to see that. I know Miss Emily Johnson is actually in the Democratic clubs doing her work. Yeah, she knows about some of what I'm talking about. I'm very interested for your perspective on what I've just said, and how you think this all works out. I don't know. Do you even know Marquez? Maybe you know about that group? I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I haven't heard of them. I haven't heard of that group.
But when I said right that, like, I think what I just said right there applies to many groups. I think that, right,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Marquez is really, like, particularly better or worse in that position. I mean, I think he's better because he gets some press with it, right? Yeah. I also question, there was also an event where promoted Tom Swazi, a millionaire, right? Maybe he's paying money to get his company promoted. But Tom Swazi, even though on paper he came out for public housing, I've never seen him at the events, man. Never seen him at the meetings. Never seen him visiting, like, even the Save Section 9 meetings. Come out to one meeting, bro. Like, I saw Yusuf Salam actually right in front of one of the public housing things when we were talking about the ERAP, right? Yeah, he was there on the actual, public housing property, right? Yeah. Tom Swazi, don't be afraid to come to the public housing. Don't be afraid to come here, Tom. Right, Tom? Don't be afraid to show up, man. Oh, my God. You know what I mean? So, Marquez, you can stand with Tom. I feel like you could push him harder, man. That's just how I feel about it.
Well, Chuck Schumer was just at Taino Towers. Chuck Schumer, Eddie Gibbs, they show up when they want something.
Yeah, that's you got it right there. Yeah, I was looking kind of like, I appreciate them showing up, and I'm like, because I know, I hear those names, I know what's going on. I'm like, well, not that they're all bad. Also, I'm sorry to say that I can't blame these elected officials 100%. Okay, because if you look at what happened with Eric Botcher winning his race, openly not helping, right? Chelsea Flixley, he won by the widest margin. So are you asking these elected officials political suicide? I mean, if y'all do not mobilize, once again, right? Yeah, if y'all do not mobilize, then listen, there's a law in the books and there's a law of nature, the law of the world. And that law is that the weak must be persecuted. The only path out is through your own empowerment, not through me, not through some savior, not through writing papers to Schumer or whatever. Right? Maybe he could be an ally, but he cannot be your ally if you do not have the power to help him help you. That's it. Yeah.
It has to be a one hand wash the other.
Working together. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see who else was on the list. Okay. Now, this flyer right here. I posted up in, let me go back to the flyer here. Anybody else that want to comment on anything at the moment? Carmen Quinones, I think, is on this list. Okay. RPPHK, elected officials. Okay, talking about tenant association presidents. Okay. 12 Veils is in the chat. She says Eddie Gibbs is hosting a Valentine event for seniors. And he's hosting an event for Black history. Because seniors vote, okay? Yeah, they're playing this election game. Yeah, that's why we're trying to do this Rep My Block thing and get people empowered from the public housing community, running for office, running for county committee. There's some people doing that, right? Like Tamika Mapp, right? I think she played a pretty, forward-facing position at the last county committee meeting. Shout out to Joanna Acevedo, right? Yeah, she's also in county committee. I believe she's a, mutual friend of ours. And that's cool. You guys, once again, right, you guys have to get involved, get your own power. Yeah. So, Anita, I know you're going to the judge and you're like wondering why the judge is like, you have a leaking roof and they won't put that on the judgment, why they won't put that in writing, that this needs to be addressed because you have no power. The rules are enforced for the rich. No, the rules are enforced upon the poor and they make exceptions for the rich. And this is just true everywhere. Democrats,
It's
Republicans, you
the
can't escape
city
it.
working with the city. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. What are they
That's
going to
what it
do?
comes
Yeah.
down to, and they don't want this to be made aware. But can you check your text? I sent you a text message. Can you check your text?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to take a look. Okay. All right. Well, no, just go ahead. Just say it. Just say it. You got to go. It's not a problem. All right. I got to go. Oh, wait. Okay. So Carmen Hernandez is late from the airport, checking my messages. And okay. Got late from the airport. Okay, so she was unable to make it. But Carmen Hernandez is another tenant association president. We're talking about tenant association president. We're talking about Carmen Quinones. Before you go, by the way, just want you to wrap up. What's your experience with Carmen Quinones? I'm sure the world wants to know. You're living there. What's your experiences with her?
I don't have much experience. I did connect with her a few years ago. She actually, I would say about 8 years ago. Yeah, about 2016 or so, 20 through 2018. She was a very strong advocate. She would come with her media pack and she was really focused on that, meaning having the media recognize the issues that we're facing. And we did have a private attorney corporation help us with all of our repairs, but frankly I think they knew about the roof at the time. I was not aware because I was new to the environment I was living, so I wasn't aware. And the bottom line is,
well, it's still not fixed, right? Is it fixed yet?
It's still not fixed. So
how many years ago was that?
2018 or so. Yeah. So I think she's
time.
great. I just think that we're all living here, and I think
right.
she's really great, and we have to figure out how to all work together.
You know,
but I have not connected with her. I mean, definitely not through the pandemic and everything, because we've all been more isolated, which is to the benefit, right?
I understand too. Yeah, she needs the press to really achieve her own goals. She has other things going on. Mm-hmm. So she kind of like leverages that, right? Yeah, like if she's going to help you, she needs to have her media team with her, stuff like that. But we need to have more accountability. So look, I like Carmen Quinones. I know like there's a lot of people who hate on her, right? Yeah, for other reasons and stuff. No one's perfect though, right? So we need to, the fact that you haven't had your roof repaired since 2018, I think that's concerning. And if there's been if she had been more helpful to you, like with your court case stuff, if you had come and be like, oh, she did all this stuff for me, that would be good. And, no one's perfect. Oh, Reverend Carmen Hernandez is here. Oh my God. Thank God she's here. Oh yeah. A tenant association president, Reverend Carmen Hernandez is in the building. This is a great addition to the program. Where did, there was someone else here. Anita was supposed to go and then someone else left. What happened? Oh my goodness. Oh,
Emily Johnson.
Yeah, she lost from Carver Houses was here. So Reverend Carmen Hernandez, can you introduce yourself?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so proud of you. You come a long way since we last saw each other. Thank you for doing what you do. It's very important to get involved because this is our home. The problem with the city is that when these people run for election, they put their buddies, the people that help them, and then these people are not experienced. They're just getting a paycheck and the position, but it's not helping the city of New York. And these are the problems that we have and that I'm tackling it. I just got back home late last night. My flight was delayed. So right now I'm planning to get the media because I don't know if you heard the news. NYCHR employees were caught bribery and all this crap, which I already knew because I've been saying it in the news. So I was not surprised. This is just a confirmation. When you are serving God and God gives you the wisdom to know what's going on and you preach it and it comes true. So now we're going to do another media to tackle them because we were victim from them of our development, and I'm not going to stay quiet. So the CEO emailed me and she would tell me what happened, and they tackling on.
Who's the COE? What is COE?
Her name is Lisa.
What is this, like an official title? Is this?
CEO.
She's in charge of NYCHR. She's the CEO. She's the new CEO. Oh. She took Ross' position. He left.
Ross's position.
Yeah, Greg Ross. So I had a great relationship with all of them. With Ross, I tackled him. I had private meeting with him here in our development. And now I'm going to do a follow-up meeting with her of the last conversation that me and Mr. Ross had. The thing is here that TA president because there's a lot of them that sell out to the tenants, and the tenants are not aware what's going on.
Right.
So I let my tenants to know what's going on and get involved. And from 96 unit, I got mostly 90 of them backing me up. The handful that don't is that they don't give a damn. Some of them are racist, so it's sad. And this is we ourselves in our community need to stick together.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. There's
Mhm.
a lot of different the developments are going down a lot of different paths. Some of them are going towards resident management. Some of them are being privatized, this other thing. I haven't really followed up on exactly where your development is. I believe you're Watson Avenue, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Which way is your development?
we are Watson, and we are affiliated with Sonia Sotomayor.
Okay.
But we have fought and let them know that we're not going to accept Rat Pack, and we're not going to accept trust. You as a development, you need to get involved. So these kind of things, they don't silence you. They have the money of your development, and you need to tackle them. Where is the money? I had a big meeting with all my tenants, and I brought News 12, and I looked at Nature representative, Mr. Brian Holden, all of them, and I even told Brian Holden, where is our money? Because Brian Holden, I found out by a former super that there was money for Glee. There's another development, senior development, and he told Brian, the extra money that's left, why you don't give it to Watson? You know what he said? Shut up, mind your business, leave the building alone. So I looked at him, and everybody was stunned. Everybody was like shocked because I went right at him. I looked at him. I said, "Where is our money?
Has
We
your
want it."
building had a vote yet? I know a
My
lot
building
of
right now is collapsing.
okay.
So
Sorry.
right now I'm working on getting them all the tenants out, because that's important to me. Their life is more important to me. So they're with me on this because they feel this is, whatever I say is because I'm representing the words of my tenants. And when you take care of your people, you know me, I'm a woman of faith, and I have to always put my Lord, because I would not done what I do and who I am if it wasn't for him, because
Appreciate you
that's
coming
my
on the
number
program,
one.
Yeah, I'm still
You
trying to
know,
get some things clear here, but okay. So the thing is that I know, like within the tenant association presidents, are you still tenant association president? You were last time I met
yes,
you.
I'm still am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's some division, right? Some of them are with CCOP. I don't know if that's like the city council of presidents, right? All the tenant association presidents get together. That's like an official one. There's also kind of like some ones that are going against that. Do you have any particular position with CCOP? Like, are you with them? Kind of like not with them?
Well,
Maybe.
CCOT, I know Danny Barber.
Okay.
Danny Barber, we have a great respect for each other. And I am so grateful to him that when I sound the alarm, he's right there,
Okay.
supporting me forefront with all these high fish of nature. He gets on their butt, as well as Lily, Ms. Lozano, who's on the CCOP as well, and she represents us here on the north side. So they both been tackling the problems that I've been having here.
Okay.
So I
Since
have
you're
no
tenant
complaints
association
with that.
president, you're much more informed on this topic and have like, I really appreciate you participating. Now, the thing is that we look at Save Section 9. That was something mentioned earlier. Save Section 9, RPPH, right? Yeah. I think that they have a different position from CCOP. It seems like they're are they together? Are they the same thing? Right? Yeah. Help us to see more clearly. Are they really against each other? Are they not? I don't know. What's your take on that relationship?
Well, there's a lot of different emotion going on with them. But we have to be careful as a TA president that they don't sell out. One thing that they'll try, there's people that they try to show that they're helping you, but behind they're cutting deals with them. with NYCHA. So you as a TA president, it's your job to find out who's who. I always tell my chamber members, you got to build relationship. You need to know who are the good guys and who are the bad guys, because this world consists good and the bad and the ugly. The ugly are the hypocrites that work on both aisle. They go to the good guy and tell them a gossip, and then they go to the bad guy and tell them your business. So it's we have to have wisdom to know who other players are and work with those good players so you could beat the bad guys. That's the way I see it.
Trying still I'm still sussing out what's going on. Yeah, I'm still sniffing around. So, but I really appreciate your participation. You're really helping me to see a lot more things, relationships, stuff like that. It's good to know. Yeah. Now, Sika is another group that I've worked with sometimes. I met Anita at the Sika meeting, which was interesting, right? Yeah. So I go to all the groups to try to meet people. And I was even an inspector for a while. Some inspector refused to do her apartment, and I said, I got it. Then we got to meet each other, and I right. However you feel about Reverend Carmen Hernandez, I don't think anybody will agree with 100% of her positions or points, but I'm a fan of hers. She was very nice to me, and we'll find a way to work together forward. Yeah. So the thing is that Sika's for this thing called resident management. Do you have a position on that?
There's a problem with the office manager. It's not only my development. I noticed that it's going around New York City. Management are so abusive, so rude, and disrespectful to the tenants. I seen it, and when I get to that office, honey, they shake from the reception, from every employee in there. They go, "Oh shit, she's here."
Sometimes
I heard him say,
those people are residents too. Not all the residents are good. Sometimes the residents get into management positions and they be doing messed up stuff too. I've seen that personally, but it's not all good, all bad. Yeah. Either.
And I was complaining why there's not a Spanish speaking for the Spanish speaking tenants. So you know what they did to shut me up? They got a manager that speaks Spanish and English, but she's worse than anybody because we don't see her.
But still, overall, I personally support. Right, but whatever my personal feelings, I do support resident management. But what do you think is the you have honestly, I'm not a tenant association president. I'm not living public housing right now. I'm just a theoretician outside. What's your take on the whole situation? Just for what's right for your community? Maybe it's different your housing tenement than other ones, right? Yeah, that's also possible. You said the building. I'm sorry. Just one more thing is the tenants right now. You said the building's coming down. What's going to happen to those tenants? What's the plan for them?
Say that again.
You said the building's coming down, right? Yeah. What's going to happen to those tenants? Is there like a plan for them? What's the?
Well, yeah, that's what we're having. We're preparing now. I got back. So now the assistant of the CEO of NYCHA, we're gonna pick a date, just like I did with Mr. Ross, and we are gonna sit down our development, our community room, and we're gonna follow up on the conversation that I had Mr. Ross that he admitted that we need to get everybody vacate out of the building. So now that's what we're going to do, this meeting. And we're going to have all the elected officials represented there. We're going to have housing police there, all the people that are involved in NYCHA, in our development that are the key players of our, so that way they all could say the problems that we are having this development. So that way the CEO understands.
Chris, go ahead.
Huh?
Oh, Chris, that's saying something.
I gotta take a
Chris,
phone call. Right? I gotta take a call. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now, just by the way, Anita, there's actually someone else trying to get in, Joanna Acevedo. So, she's actually also a very involved. She's actually a county committee person. So, yeah, if you're done with the call, I think I can only have 4 people on at a time. I just don't have the funds to really. I could be on a Google Meet, but the StreamYard is easier for me and the audio and stuff. So. Thank you for your testimony on what's going on with Carmen Quinones, though. I'm sure a lot of people are very curious about what's going on with her. So thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, Chris left. Okay. Joanne, if you could. Oh, Emily Johnson is back. Yeah. I'm sorry. I guess I'm limited to only 4 people on. Okay. So Emily Johnson, I'm sorry you've been waiting, huh? I'm sorry. I guess you were in the back room. I'm new to the StreamYard. Okay. Were you able to hear what was going on though?
Of course.
Okay, wow. Okay, so I'm new to the StreamYard, so I didn't know about the 4-person limit. I'm so sorry. I think Joanne's still Joanne, if you're still watching, please jump in.
Yeah, she should be able to get on.
Okay, so just from what I heard.
should be able to put on.
maybe Emily has a question. You've been gone for a long time. You want to jump in? Go ahead. You've been waiting.
Okay. One of the questions that I do have is, have you, there's also an activist group called One Night Show. They're very active as well. One Night Show is very active. Stan Morse, and also, Sandria Coleman. She lives in Isaac Houses. My TA president, he has sold out. He's gone. He elected his friend that works in the comptroller's office. So now she's the president. I don't know who voted on that. So the fact that all of these things are happening and transpiring and things of that nature, it's really difficult to get a handle on, the fact that the residents are being sold under the bus, to be honest with you. From my understanding, half of my development has already been sanctioned for Section 8, from my
Wow.
understanding. The tenants are already calling me, and I'm like, listen, I've been at y'all for the last 10 years to get on board with me with this here, and y'all sit there, and now here it is, and it's right at your doorstep.
Okay.
I understand, we all activists, we cannot be out there fighting without you. That's the problem. When they say all hands on deck, all hands need to be on deck.
So, actually, let's talk about some ways that we can get our hands on that deck right there. Maybe I could hear from each of you, right? Because you all have your own particular perspective on how corruption is actually misleading people, or some of the tricks or the traps involved, right? And we may have wildly different perspectives on that, but I want to hear from each of you what residents can do besides. I know we got to mobilize, right? Yeah, but how are they trying to take over your properties? How are they trying to displace you? How are they trying to move you into who knows where, right? Yeah. How are they trying to do that and remove your rights to your home and take those homes from you? How can we protect ourselves? I guess I'll start with Reverend Carmen Hernandez.
Well, I want to say to the sister, you right on deck is what I've been talking about, and what's going on in NYCHA development. That tenants are not aware what's going on, and they're selling out these poor tenants because they're not educating them. Elderly people, they take them for, they'll lie to them, and they don't know. So I have to make sure that I'm looking out for my tenants. And my goal was to unite all development tenants around New York City, to fight. So it's difficult. It is very difficult.
Our TA president, she works in the comptroller's office. Hello.
Wow. That's right.
Yeah.
So, and it's I don't know what to say. All I can say is we got to kill the root of evil. When you do that, then we could organize and mobilize. We need, as people, we got to go back as Martin Luther the King. You have to unite. That's my goal. Get every as much possible tenants and let them know what's going on, and gather and mob the downtown office. I mean, in such a way that we could block the whole street.
Oh,
That's
baby,
my
I done
vision.
been down there, honey. They were so sick of me. They sick of me. You hear me?
Well, imagine
They don't even like me
if,
to show up in Albany. They don't even
well,
like me to come to Albany.
imagine if you get your people, your development, my development, and we get just a couple at each development in New York City and block the whole street. Honey, I'm gonna promise you, we're gonna get some stuff done.
I know that's in your blood. I know you've been a long-time organizer. I respect your work. You've done. I know you do the Latino hip hop stuff. I know you've done an event with Russell Simmons with the Def Jam, where you had some type of Latino hip hop thing in your area.
Yeah,
It's pretty
I was the
impressive.
co-founder of the Latin Hip Hop Summit. Russell Simmons partnered with us, and we did it at Lehman College with all the Latino hip hop artists to educate our young people, because in that time the police was arresting our young people so they could steal their ability to vote. You know, there was a lot of little under the
Yeah.
ground dirty work, and we spoke with Russell Simmons, and he was on deck because he's the legend of the Hip Hop Summit. So we're the first history that we did the Latin Hip Hop Summit, and honor that Russell Simmons joined with me on this to tackle it off. So we had over 1,000 people that we registered the young people to vote. So we were proud for that work. So yes, I've been blessed with great leaders in the music world and in community to able to do these kind of legacy work here in the Bronx. That's why I'm a public figure in the Bronx
I
here.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank
You're
you. Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. Now I want to make sure that I actually saw before I added Caesar. Actually, Christopher Leon Johnson was up next. He has a lot of interesting things to say, calling a lot of groups, right? Yeah. Kind of provoked this whole needed conversation, right? Yeah. How does the corruption, impacting the people? How is it hurting them? What can they do to protect themselves? Chris, and what's your
Yeah,
viewpoint here?
I think like people have to I mean, I'm not a big expert in nature because I don't live in nature, so I can't act like I can't. I don't. I'm not going. You'll never see me try to act like and speak like I live there. I'm gonna tell you people this right now, outsider, is that you people have to organize. You people have to gather and find candidates that's ready to run against.
You're hard to hear, Chris. You're too far from the camera. You're too far from the
Thank,
microphone.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta
Can
be
you
like
hear me now?
that.
I said,
Yeah, I'm sorry,
I said before, you can't expect. Tell my language. All right, so you can't. I'm not from Nitro. I don't live in Nitro. I never lived in Nitro development, so I can't really speak on it that much. Like I have the experience, but I'll tell you as an outsider and a person that's more political, that you people have to find people that's ready to run against these candidates, because the reason this is happening because of elected officials, not just the elected officials. You have to find people run against these tenant association leaders. So that'll be my advice. That's the only thing I'll tell you.
Yeah. And like we said before, some of them are incentivized, right, to not engage their communities. Yeah. Now, 12 Veils just jumped on. Shout out 12 Veils. Sorry about I had some. I finally figured out how to add 6 now. Wow. Thanks, 12,
Yeah,
for
you
sending me a
can.
message about unlocking the power of StreamYard. I did not know. Yeah, I'm quite new to this. Caesar just jumped in. If Caesar wants to say what's up, I did want to introduce himself. Then I have 12 Veils introduce yourself. I know Caesar's been waiting. Caesar, what's up, man? You want to say what's up to the to the crowd, or maybe just listen in? Either way.
Hello, I'm from Public Housing. This is Caesar York. I'm in the community board 1. Yeah, I've been living in public housing for over 30 years, since '89, so moving from Guatemala here. Yeah, I saw this a few minutes ago in the
Are you a co-founder of Safe Section 9? That's Caesar?
Yeah, I'm co-founder of Safe Section 9 to get more federal funding to public housing. Public housing is being basically demolished by the federal government.
But you left Safe Section 9, am I correct? Kind of?
Yeah, I left Safe Section 9 after the vote with the states. So we will go voting against what's the name? The Blueprint for Change.
Oh,
So
after they said they were against the Blueprint for Change, then you left them because you weren't happy about that, or something else?
No, after I saw the votes, it was like I did 118 to 18. It's just like the strategy wasn't what I was looking for. It had to be a federal strategy because it was too much focus on New York City. NYCHA public housing is not only in New York City; it's United States. It's national.
Okay.
And then it was too much focus on NYCHA, and then I thought it was a losing battle. I mean, I'm being honest right now. I thought it was a losing battle because proposals that be, especially the federal government wants to destroy public housing.
Okay, so quick question.
And,
Do
yeah.
you think that was because of political connections that were influencing those decisions? Do you think that these decisions were made? Like, why were they making these decisions to specifically help? Maybe there were people in New York City, like Amanda Septimo, who's paying them. Why were, like, maybe not? I don't know, right? But honestly, if you get funding, like, how can you need funding to do work? I mean, you know, and also funding makes things possible. So I'm not saying that that's all bad, which is something that Crystal Leon Johnson pointed out earlier. There are accusations of Safe Section 9. Go ahead.
No, you have to understand, like, a lot of people that voted against the blueprint were from New York City. A lot of elected officials. But that wasn't the problem. The issue was that this is the New York State bill. A lot of people outside in New York City don't see public housing the way we see it. You see that? Because a lot of the votes that were more than 100 votes were outside in New York City. So we got a lot of votes from New York City, a lot of elected officials in New York City to vote against the blueprint. And then our further strategy was should be federal level because this is a federal issue. No, you can't get right
That's
now.
a great
It's
point.
70
That's
billion.
why we need people like you to
$70
be
billion.
heard. That's a good point,
Yeah.
right? City versus state, right? There's different things going on. We need to look at what's going on. Sometimes, right, they try to pass. That happened with the disabilities people, right? Right now, that's happening with the Ain't I a Woman campaign, with the Asians fighting against the disability people down at City Hall, right? Exactly, right? City versus state, right? Sometimes there's different layers going on. People try to pass things at one level, they can't at another. They can't do it at the city level, so they try to get the state to shut things down. That's a sneaky play. Holy crap! I never even heard that before.
Sorry to stop you, but what added to the kind of like complication is this is a federal thing.
Okay.
You see that? It's federal. Like public housing is not NYCHA. Public housing is a federal. It's Section 9, which is a federal thing. So that's what complicated things. There was too much focus in NYCHA, and it should have been a federal strategy because this is a federal. Like I said, right now it's $70 billion in deficit. Okay. Before it was $40 billion. So then the city and the state wasn't going to.
What would you have to say to Chris's claim that Safe Section 9 is tied to the developers? Do you have anything to say about the claim that Safe Section 9 is tied to the developers? I mean, probably obviously would combat that, right? But I just want to hear from you directly, right? Oh, Chris is here, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean the main thing to say something, it has to do with privatization versus public. Right now they're doing that to schools too with the charter system. It's like it's not only public housing. You distinguish private and public, and then a lot of these things are trying to move more toward private entities. That's why also public schools are being decimated. It's not only public housing. This is happening in other entities as well because with capitalism, the push towards more privatization with these things.
And that does tend to come from this crowd, though. Yeah. They always try to link it from the public. I'm sorry. I appreciate your work, man, but I always see this tie between they always go from the housing to the education and try to link it together. This same crowd, Ramona does the same thing. Yeah. I don't know if that's on purpose or if that's, right. Some kind of like, oh, it is really interesting. So there is a tie. What is the purpose?
Is money making, profit making, because that's what this country is about. It's a capitalist country.
So what you're saying that you guys get involved with that sequence of issues for the money?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay, because I was like, holy crap.
I'm not saying I get involved with that. You misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying what happened in public housing is also happening in other things like healthcare, education.
Okay. That is
privatization in public entities. It's the same phenomenon that's happening in other things. It's not only public housing, but then the federal government doesn't want to have public housing because of that dilemma or that conflict between public and private things.
Okay, so Chris, I just asked him, right? This is your chance, right? I just asked Cesar directly as a co-founder of Safe Section 9 if he's tied to the developers. Do you have anything other, right? Yeah, you have a co-founder of Safe Section 9 right here. Do you have any other questions, or maybe you were pointing out some ties with Septimo? Do you have any other particular? Go ahead. It's all you, bro. Let's see what's up.
Nothing basically. I said what I said.
Can you get closer to the mic? I really can't hear you.
I said what I said. I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said what I said. You know what I'm saying?
So am I right in that what you said was that because of the ties to Septimo, you're uncomfortable with that? Okay, yeah. And the history of her work and being tied to developers. That's a legitimate cause for investigation, right? Yeah, I'm not saying there's nothing there, right? I'm willing to take a look into it. Okay. Now we were also talking about tenant association presidents, stuff like that. Let me see who else is on the list. Oh, by the way, I think One Night is on the list too. We're gonna get to that in a moment. Yeah. Okay, so where's the flyer with the stuff here? Oh my goodness. But Sika, okay, the developers. Okay, which developers do you guys think are actually making the most moves? I know Harlem River just got taken over by one of the developers. Is it a bunch of developers? Is it a few developers? Are these developers tied to, I think there's another season says they're tied to Israeli companies. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. What do you guys know about the developers who are actually making these moves?
Like related.
Related, okay. Anything that you want to say about the particular corruption ties or that links to elected officials that you see with the related or other moves they got going on?
I didn't hear what you said, sorry.
Okay. When you say that related's the one, right? Do you have any other information on related, like regarding like the corruption that's going on?
I don't want to say corruption. I don't want to put words out there like that. Like for management, the one that gets a lot of the management contract is Wavecrest. They like get millions of contracts from the city. Another one is Related. Related has a lot of pool and development in New York City.
Is Wavecrest highly Asian American? Wavecrest? Is that the Asian one?
No, he's a management company for
I know AFTI is also pushing a lot of affordable housing. I'm afraid that they're using Asian Americans to try to pit them against the Black community to try to get involved in these kinds of schemes. And I think that, I don't want to see my people used in this way because we'll end up becoming scapegoats when things go down, when they were just used as pawns against, I think that's something that needs to be investigated as well. AFI, what's going on, AFI? With your affordable housing units that you guys are pumping and hiring people for. I think it's kind of sus, yeah? Okay. Let's talk about One Night. Okay, the thing is that back when I met Emily Johnson years ago, right? Yeah, she turned me on to One Night. But One Night has never yet had me on the program yet. I actually invited them to today's program. That was just an hour and a half ago, so maybe they haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to say they're really guilty for not seeing that. If they jump in, that would be great. And, I appreciate the work, but, once again, why? And maybe, I have to admit that I think that some of it is because of the way that I look. I'm an outsider, right? Yeah, like, who is this guy getting involved with public housing? Is he really one of us? He's probably a Fed. You know what I mean? Maybe am I misreading this, or you think that I got something there? Like,
I think you're misreading it. Trust
maybe. Okay, maybe. Sometimes I'd be wigging out, be like Asian American, blah blah. But I feel like I feel excluded. I feel like people not taking me seriously. I feel like there's a lot of the message that could be getting out, and I feel like there's a lot of truth that I have in terms of knowing how to backpack fast in the day. I'm sorry, I'm blabbering on. Go ahead. So I'm going overboard with it. Maybe okay. Thanks for checking me. I appreciate that.
Public housing is diverse. It's like you have people from everywhere in the world in public housing. So it just happens to be in my neighborhood predominant more Black and Latino, but you go to Queens and you go to other places. Okay. You have high Asian population. So
don't worry, I'm good with that. Yeah, the Asian thing. Okay, so maybe it's not that. I feel like it affects me. Maybe it doesn't, right? Yeah, maybe I'm overblowing it. To me, it feels that way, but it is what it is. Let's move on to the next one over here. Let's talk about the federal monitor. I was talking with Michael Cintrone on the phone last night, and I was like, yo, I have evidence of myself telling the federal monitor about I worked as a contracted employee, right, under the NYCHA system doing lead inspections. That's how I met Reverend Carmen Hernandez, by the way. I was inspecting her apartment. And the thing is that I said that the people at the end don't know how much the boss is getting paid. So it incentivizes the boss to have you hurry up on the job or do other things like that, right? Which might actually hurt the end consumer. I won't say it's the big boss who is doing that, but people on the field, they want to go home. You know what I mean? So there's always that pressure and stuff, right? And these things are negatively impacting residents. They said they were going to talk. They never did. And I have documented this. I documented myself emailing them with the video of them saying they would talk to me, saying, you guys aren't talking to me. They didn't talk to me. Michael Cintrone said, I had a similar experience. This is with the Federal Monitor. Now, the thing is that other people, I know the Federal Monitor, I said that Carmen Quinones, I don't know, maybe they also met with you, Hernandez, right? You're an actual tenant association president. Carmen Quinones was happy. She was like, oh, yeah, the Federal Monitor talks to me, treats me great. Yeah, of course, you're someone with power, you're someone with a title, right? But I'm telling you right now that I have documented evidence. I have skepticism about the Monitor. Maybe you could help get these issues addressed.
Listen, I went to Bronx River Development. They had the federal monitor, the monitor there, and I confront them. They were very uncomfortable. I told them, you are wasting our time because actually you are not helping. Oh, they didn't like me at all. They didn't like me at all. They didn't like what I said. The tenant president of that development, they were all kissing each other's ass there. So I found out right there with my own eyes that it's a sellout. So when I saw the TA president telling me that NYCHA got rid of her seniors, and I said, what did you do about it? Why you didn't reach out to us to protest? So this really got, and I looked at her and I challenged her. Oh yeah, I'm going to give you a call. To this day, this was last year, she never reached out. So, it's sad, that monitor was created. They said, yeah, the judge did it, but NYCHA's the one that put these monitors in, so no, is you're right. It's wasting our time. It's just selling out to the tenants and filling them with lies.
And also the Federal Monitor too, by the way, the fact of the matter is that you're there, and I heard that, like, trying to sympathize with you, I heard that you don't have any actually power to take care of the situation. If you don't have any power and you can't change things, people are still suffering, you should just resign. Stop being in some kind of like paperweight, I'm going to prove this thing, right? Everything's fine, right? Yeah, it's not fine. If you don't have any actual power to make us change, why are you getting paid? You should just step out the job and say, this is ridiculous, and actually try to, or fix the situation, stop it, And I hope that the other people that had or disappointments with the Federal Monitor get together, because the press is not going to cover this. So we need to get together, coordinate, and say, you know what, this is unacceptable. All together, we can put it forth, Federal Monitor, you're failing us, right? Yeah, and we demand during an election season, we're going to get your ass. Stop it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I have it on, once again, record. I have the videotape on my channel. Type in Federal Monitor on the DSL channel and watch the footage where I go to the Federal Monitor and say, hey, this is an issue. And he says, oh, well, follow up with you. They look like they didn't do nothing. Yeah, it's all videotapes. That's why we're documenting everything. Anybody else want to chip on and kick the Federal Monitor in the gut? Go ahead. No? Okay. Let's talk about like I was mentioning Michael Cintrone several times today, the death of Gavin Cintrone, what we can do, right? How the corruption is affecting and why they're not still getting a solution. Any ideas about why people can be dead and why nothing can move forward? I'm sure you guys have your own case. People go in the hospital, people, right? Yeah, you may even know someone who's died yourself from the incompetence going on or had brain damage from lead or other things, right? Yeah. Lung sickness. Go ahead.
Yeah, it happened in my development. We had two seniors that passed away. One of them, we believe, because of the condition of their apartment, and NYCHA's been silent because people think, oh, because you're elderly and your health, you die naturally. No, we believe strongly, us tenants here, that because of the condition we are living, it affects people's health. So, yeah, it happened to us here.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to say anything about it? Oh, Joanne's here. Oh, yes. She got her stuff working. Joanne, what's up? New City Councilwoman once again. If you're in public housing.
County committee?
Yeah. She's a role model. Right there. Y'all need to be doing what she's doing.
Well, listen, I've been dealing with housing for a very long time. We just had a funeral for my aunt who died in George Washington Projects. Her apartment was horrible and nothing was fixed. They gave her a slop sink. Bathroom was disgusting. Everything. They take care of the seniors the worst. Now, the president from NYCHA from Miss whatever the tenant association president from George Washington Housings. She's full of shit. That's one. Two, everything has been discussed with every housing situation that me and Miss Emily Johnson's been working on with for the past couple of years. Elf, you met me when we were downtown, when we were lobbying for situations where why the tenants can't buy their apartments. My mother's an owner. She lives in a tenant building. Why you can't sell the apartments to the senior? Me and Miss Emily Johnson and DeBrell, we were working on this. And the only thing that was a catch-22 was the elderly, how they were going to pay the maintenance fee. You got a lot of people that live in housing. They're retired. Their apartments are immaculate, and they don't even look like that's a housing apartment because they take care of their apartments.
Yeah,
It's disgusting how tenant association presidents say they want the title, but they don't do the work. It's disgusting how you want the name, but you don't want to do the actions and do everything that is supposed to be involved in. My whole thing, and I don't live in housing, but I do my thing for housing. I get a lot of flack. Oh my God, da 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 da. Let me tell you something. The Blue VAT program is full of shit. If you don't read it, they're gonna say they're gonna take you out the building, they're gonna fix it. That's bullshit. Because once they take you out the apartment, if you don't read it in fine print, you're gonna get new toilets, you're gonna get new this. It's all refurbished. You're not getting stuff like the other buildings get, the real luxury condominiums. You're not gonna get that. You're gonna get the facades. Listen, when you cool with people that do construction, when you cool with people that do the ordering and stuff, we get to know a lot of stuff. I've been doing this already for a couple of years now, maybe 6 years now, and the stuff that I've seen is disgusting. Everybody says, yeah, but nobody comes out to the front. We got a whole lot of issues are going on with all the developments. I am so glad that half of them people, they got busted for all that construction work and everything that they were supposed to pay, and they didn't pay, and they didn't take care of the stuff with all the tickets and stuff lined up, and they was not taking care of it. It's disgusting. Me and Emily helped out so many people from different projects on getting from the heat, from the floor sinking in the floor, from tubs not getting fixed, repairs are not getting done, bed bugs in the apartments. They don't fix anything. They just do a patch job. I am so glad that 70 people got construction workers, and they better catch some of these housing tenant association presidents too, because they're not about shit. And I don't live in housing, but I have a lot of family members that live in housing. I have a lot of friends that live in housing, and it's a shame the blackmailing, the neglect. Where all of this money go? Where did all this money go? And why can't me, Emily, and other people just get together and just go down to DC and sit down with HUD and say, listen, let the tenants be owners of their own apartments, the same way there's a grandfather's clause in the mayor's office since 1903, where you can buy your apartment for $2,500. Seniors $1,500. I did it for my mother's building. See, I've been listening in, and certain individuals, I ain't buying it. Respectfully, I ain't buying it.
Go ahead.
I ain't buying it because it doesn't make a sense that if you live in housing and people that don't live in housing is fighting more for you guys that live in housing, and then just sitting back and taking the kickbacks and doing whatever. Listen, anybody that signs the Blue Rat program and the president sign off on it, I don't know if Emily brought it up, but anybody that signs the Blue Rat program, there's a tenant association president gets $25,000 for them to sign off on their projects to get into it. And once they
Well,
sign that, and once they sign it, and they get that $25,000, they don't want to be tenant association presidents no more. They want to move to another state. They want to get their housing situation. This is why when they call me and I tell them the deal and I give them the real deal, and they don't like it because I tell the truth. All
So
of
I
them.
love Joanna.
Eddie
Yeah.
Gibbs is full of shit. All of them is full of shit.
There, Joanna, you didn't hold back. I love it. Yeah. Let them know. Yeah.
But it is what it is, though. Like, I'm not
well,
in office. I'm county committee member. And I'm glad that I'm in that position that I could sit down and talk about the real deals what's going on with people that live in housing and other people that don't live in housing and they fighting and everything. I get it. I so get it. The other night, I had like 15 phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning because their sink's not working, their floors is leaking, got ceilings in the hole, their kids got asthma, the kids got asthmatics, they're going for lawsuits now, they got to take money out of their own pocket to fix them. This is beginning to be ridiculous. So, and I just got one thing to say to all the tenant association presidents in all 5 boroughs. Get off your motherfucking ass and do some fucking legwork. It should not be that fucking hard to sit there and do something that we know that's a necessity.
Well, Ms. Acevedo, let me let you know about something. I'm the TA president of Watson Avenue, and I've been the only one vocal voice, and I'm the TA president. And I don't care, they give me $50,000. This tenant president is not a sellout to her people. She here
I agree.
representing, fighting for them. And you're right. Before you came on, I was saying that if we could get the 5 borough, if we could get a handful each development and unite downtown, because we need to and block the whole street and then go to DC. Because let me tell you, HUD don't give a shit neither. A lot of them sit there and they're in the office entitled. And when you meet with them, because I got connection with HUD, I know a handful of them because of my advocacy here in my development. And a lot of them, they don't listen neither. So if we don't unite,
there's always a boss. There's always someone that's higher than them that we got to hit.
Acevedo, you're right. A lot of these, I just said it. A lot of these TA presidents sold out to the development because all they care is about themselves and not because they care about their people. We as people grab our tenants and get tenants involved. At least if we could get one activate, if I be invited in these development so we could gather them and I could get these information, let me tell you, we could change we could change the whole movement around. I guarantee you that.
It's just sad that the viejitos, that they don't get nothing fixed. And then they say, yeah.
Because we need to unite as people to defend our people, our elderly, I'm a disabled person. And I mobilized my butt. My brother was laughing about me yesterday. He said, you're here in Colorado and you're like, I said, because I'm being me right now. I am sick. But he said, but when you go to New York back home, girl, you look like you're not sick. You forget your walker and you're there fighting with everybody.
If I could throw in something right here, I do like the rallies. I'm not against that. But one thing that could really work for us is actually having the lawsuits, right? We know that a lot of city projects have been stopped by lawsuits that actually
yes,
all kinds of things, right? So
yes.
Now I don't know if any of you saw my expose on legal aid defense funds. I know they're actually heavy inside the public housing, handing out the flyers saying, "Look, we'll help you" and stuff.
Right, but they
actually, once I actually investigated them, there's actually, you could type that on my channel. You'll see that they're funding, a lot of their money comes in from the real estate industry and from real estate lawyers that are from the biggest real estate firms. So not perfect, not bad, but not good, right? Not bad, right? But I mean, definitely concerning, right? Yeah, who do they really serve, right? Yeah. If we don't have any, do any of you have any positives? Maybe they've done something. Do any of you have a positive story?
Not that I know of.
Done for? I don't know anything. What about
what is positive? To me, what is positive?
Maybe they saved somebody. Maybe they actually saved, people from being displaced. Maybe they actually got some money for, or a positive ruling for people in public housing.
Well, I could say this much.
Okay.
Not everybody in NYCHA are bad people.
No.
True.
In fact, I had great handful of people on the back scene helping me and tell me what really was going on. And I had one here and he told me, Rev, they stole money from your development.
course they did. Of
And
course
this is
they
a
did.
NYCHA employee. So not all of them are bad people. It's just that they work for a living.
And we need
But
to share who the good people are so we can know who to go for help, because a lot of us are waiting for
well,
help.
it's very
People ringing Joanna
dangerous
'cause- yeah.
because these are NYCHA employee and they could lose their
Yeah.
job.
Right.
So
And then,
I cannot say it.
right.
But I could speak it because, I know the truth because this is from their mouth. So
Well, I want to know who out of the TA presidents that we have on the panel went to New Orleans, because as a TA president, y'all have trips. Who sponsors that trip? So y'all been
I
to
don't know.
Florida. Y'all been to Florida. Y'all been to New Orleans. You've been to
I
Carolina.
never, honestly,
Who's
I'm
been?
the TA president. I never heard of it.
Oh,
So
really?
this is the problem. The problem is we have NYCHA residents that are not participating in what NYCHA offers, right? So NYCHA has sent people to Africa, right?
Wow.
How don't people know? And yet we have people saying that they are representatives. So I was on a 5-borough NYCHA board, right? It was called the Resident Alliance, which was sponsored with Community Service Society under Vic Bach. Do any of y'all know Vic Bach?
No.
Okay, so we had a 5-borough to Ethel Velez. Do you know Ethel Velez?
I heard of her.
I know a lot of Velez's. It's hard.
Okay, so Ethel Velez is the COP chair president for Manhattan North. So how we got people in here and they don't know this, right? So we got Sylvia Velez was on there. Sylvia Velez was the TA president of the houses right next to Johnson, right? What was the name of that? That's
Where you at, 12?
I'm in Taft.
Oh,
I've been here since 2005, right?
okay.
And I was in Brooklyn and Whitman, right? And
Okay.
in Brooklyn, I was with the Resident Alliance, which was through Community Service Society, which is no different than your Fury, your CVH, your Seeker. Those are all nonprofit-based
Wait a minute,
organizations.
But didn't they just throw out your tenant association, Miss Beverly McFarland, for
No,
doing some
Beverly
shenanigans?
McFarland. No, Beverly McFarland is the TA president. They got.
No, she's not. From what I heard, that
So
they
then you
went to
heard
NYCHA and
wrong.
they took
So then
her
you
out.
heard wrong, and that's the problem. Too many people that are in NYCHA, they don't have a newsletter. They're not writing out anything, and then we get people on the outside, like DJ Elf is doing right now, who's trying to organize and get information out. And always people that don't know anything is talking, and that's the problem. We got a federal monitor.
We got paperwork to prove that.
And the thing that's really messed up is that we got a city council, we got a board. NYCHA has board meetings every month. At the board meeting, they said that the federal monitor was leaving and that we was going to be getting a new one, right? And that is something that you can live stream. These are information is going on all over the place, and people still continue to say that we don't know. We don't know. Nobody's telling us. How is that possible? You have a whole city council. City council has meetings, right? And they ask for public comment. Most of the time, we don't have public comments from NYCHA residents. That doesn't make any sense to me. Everybody, the problem is, but wait a minute, Joanne. The problem is everybody wants to be the leader. And if you don't want to lead, if you don't want to be with them as they lead, then they don't want to have nothing to do with anything. And that was the problem with our TA president. We already got a TA president, Beverly McFarland. We had some people uprise. They didn't want to follow her. So then they went.
You know why?
When they tried to break it up.
I want to hear.
You know why they
want
didn't want to follow
to
her?
No,
Let's 12 finish. Then we're going to hear from you, Joanna. Let's 12
It
finish.
all goes by people just saying that they want to work together, but they don't actually work together. Everybody got enough things that they could do. Everybody can do something, but they don't want to because they want to be the head. They want to be the chief. They want to be the one that gets the recognition. And that's the problem. And all these poor people, they don't have no money. They can't pull no money together, but they always got something they want to say. And that is the major problem. We got the one NYCHA this, NYCHA that. We got people trying to do this. We got people with CVH. And in my development, people was gathering in the lobby with CVH. Do you understand? They're always trying to do something because they want to be the head. And that's the problem because you run for the position. If the residents don't vote you in, you can't do it. You got to take that L. These people don't want to take the L. You run for the position. If the residents don't put you in, you're going to have to take the L. And sit back and let the person who's in position lead.
Okay, so if the person, all right, now we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, I want
So
you
if
to
the
go in,
person
go
that
ahead.
takes the lead, right? If the tenant association president is supposed to take the lead, so why they neglecting the tenants when they got issues and I'm getting phone calls?
So the tenant's
I'm
supposed
getting
to
phone
vote them
calls
out.
and Emily Johnson's getting phone calls and she's from Carver and I don't live in housing and I'm getting
Bullshit.
calls from your
It's
facility.
bullshit.
I'm
Just
getting calls for.
take the fact that it's bullshit. Show me the paperwork and let's go
All
from
right,
there. We need to have accountability and stop with the bullshit. Everybody
I
is
agree.
bullshit in NYCHA. That is the problem. They bullshit all day. Everybody want to be the head. Nobody want to put the work in. Nobody's going to a building. My building only got 9 buildings. Came from a building that had 35. I fly at all 35 of those buildings. Do you understand?
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Can I say
understand.
It's
something?
bull. It's bull.
I understand. I've done
Miss
that too.
12, Miss 12, can I say something? If you allow me?
I'm listening.
Sir, I agree with you. And this has been my problem as a TA president. I have talked to TA president for us to unite and get involved. To this day, I've been doing this for 2 years. I did it recently, last year, in a monitor event. I challenged them. To this day, I have not heard any other TA president. What I have heard that they talk behind my back, like who thinks she is, and they defamation character, saying lies about me, but they don't unite to help. That's what I was saying in the beginning when I got in this conversation. If we get everybody, but a lot of these TA presidents are sellout. They don't care about their tenant. They only care about position, and they only can, you're right, to be the number one up in there, kissing ass with certain politicians that are not representing us. So yes, I am with you with the passion of it, because I've been fighting since I became tenant president for 12 years, and I don't mess. I'm not a sellout. I don't play, and I'm on deck on to represent my tenants, my development. Let me tell my development. They had it for silence for 20 years. They have taken no budget. They have not given us no budget for our development. They have, our building is falling apart, and I've been fighting since the day one that my tenants voted for me, because my tenants voted for me. And let me tell you, when I started the running, NYCHA with the former president was selling out and try to block my voting, that they had to do it twice.
Oh no, you got people
That's how grimy that NYCHA want to take control, and how certain TA president are sellout.
Okay, so if I could just get in for a second, you guys I love the passion here. Now the fact of the matter is that, right, while 12 is doing a great job of outlining, right, some of the problems that the groups have, which I'm suffering too, by the way. One that just never had me on the show. Remember that Joanna Acevedo is actually a county committee person doing exactly what we need residents to do. Carmen Hernandez is a tenant association president, right? Yeah. And other people took the L when Carmen Hernandez ran for tenant association president. She's still tenant association president because she hasn't taken an L yet. So they're still doing what they need to do in a way, right? You're not wrong, 12. By the way, also, when you went to go flyer every door, I've done that several times. What happens is that a lot of these organizations send out volunteers to do low yield work because they have the list of the voters, so they know who's more involved, right? They have their own sign up list, but they ask you to go hit every single door, right? Yeah, because that's right. Their return on investment is maybe like, 60-70%, and you're getting like 1%, 2%. You're doing what they don't have time to do. It might get some value, but the return, right? They got you scraping through the dirt, right? Yeah. But we're trying to get the critical mass here.
No, but no, the real problem is, so the tenant, because of the outreach, tenants came to the meeting. When the tenants came to the meeting, the resident associations was like, where have you been all this time talking to the new people? They was very nasty to them. And these are working class people. They don't want to be bothered. So we had a standing room only, and the people was acting up. Next thing you know, next meeting, they had the police with them because we got PSA, right? So now they got the PSA community affairs with them. Now they feel intimidated and scared because they're the ones not giving out information. But the bottom line is, we have PSA, we have the build a block, we have all these little things, and we keep finding residents time and time again saying they don't know about any of it. Now, who's fault is that? Now we have resident leadership and nobody knows. That don't make no sense. Even on the outside of the community, they don't know. And I just don't understand. Year after year, we have people that's been in positions for years, decades even. And then we still got residents that be like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been to a meeting. I don't know.
Right.
I didn't know that we have that. I don't know. And so that's
Right.
the problem. The problem is that people continue to stay ignorant. Okay, they don't want to know. At this point, you have to just agree the fact that they don't want to know. They don't want to know. And the only reason that you see people like with Chelsea Elliott fighting now at the community board that was always existing is because now it's bothering them. No, we got to get to the point where we stop acting like we want to do something at the last minute. After the lease and everything's been signed, now you want to have a problem. You was already should know. You already was informed. But see, it didn't bother you then. You wasn't shaking out of your tree. But the places have been there. We got to get to the point that we just draw the line. And nobody's going to call me at the middle of the night because I tell people to do what they're supposed to do. And that's to call the person that's getting paid. Because I ran for a position and the people didn't vote for me. You know who voted for me? Me. I was the only one who voted. Allegedly, right? I'm the only one that cast for myself. But when I came and I was going around to let people know I was running, everybody let me into their room and talk to me. Everybody let me in and talk. Oh, we need new blood. Oh, bullshit. They don't want new blood.
I think I met you when we was in front of Eddie Gibbs' office, correct?
I'm sure with Section 9 and Ed. That's how I met Ed.
We met that day when I I told him you signed the Blue Rat program. This is a perfect example. You're an ass because you was arrested and they gave you this platform to do something with the city and state, and you even messing that up. Like, you're doing things for when it's convenient for you. First of all, he doesn't like Hispanics. He doesn't like females, period. That's one. And I'm still waiting for him to come see me to smack me. That's two. And calling me a bitch, that's three. So straight hood all day, every day, on 1,000. That's two. Thing is, do you guys not understand that? Get it. The history of housing wasn't made for us. It was made for no. It was made for people that was in government, or they were sergeant soldiers, or they were at war, and this was their
housing,
their co-op, right? So when it became their co-op, they were like, you know what? When they finally found out, because I got the book. It's called The Color of Law, which a wife and a husband had to actually sue them for them they can get a housing in Nitro or a house. So this has been going on since 1940s, right? So they said, you know what? White people said, you know what? Let's just give them that we found some land, let's build some subdivisions, and we'll give this to the poor, right? Now, my whole thing is, if we got family members that have been living in housing for 30, 40, 20, 50 years, why not make them owners? It's in the mayor's office. This clause is called the grandfather's clause, which she's been in the mayor's office since 1903. Not everybody knows because not everybody looks. I looked, which is now called the CHILD program with HUD. See? Now, we're getting it. So now if you want to be an owner, if you've been in your apartment 10 years and better, why not? That makes them be more sufficient to take care of their property and tell other people, yo, take care of your shit. Like, let's get this right. Me and Emily Johnson and Debrell, we've been rocking this, but we almost had it. 6 years, we almost had it. All the tenants were like, let us know, Joanne. Let Emily, we know, let us know. I don't live in housing, but when I knock on doors and I talk to people and they show us stuff and we take pictures, it is sad. The only way now that all this corruption and everything blew up now, and there's still more to come. There's still more to come. We got 600,000 housing units in all 5 boroughs, and half of those units are closed off because they don't want to rent to nobody. You see? It's a double standard, and it's a triple, quadruple. I don't live in housing, but I do my homework. You get what I'm saying?
And Ms. Acevedo, you're right, because we are victim of it. They trying to get rid of the tenants without them compensate the tenants, and they are very sneaky. Let me tell you, we just had a fire here last year in August 8th, and I was in Florida, and I flew the next day back home. And let me tell you, the way they handle this, the first thing they tell the tenants, oh, you want to move?
Because you know why? because they want to fix them up and give them right back. If a person that lives downtown living in a little mice box, 600 square feet and paying $5,000 rent, they can come up to the projects and take it from you because they'll take the person that got the most money.
Yep.
People are not seeing, people are not realizing and seeing that everything is a money game changer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it
So
is.
then people don't understand. They're sitting in their house. Oh, that has nothing to do with me. Yes, that has something to do
That
with
has to
you.
do with you. Mhm.
I get
I hear
tired. I get tired for helping people a lot. I'm pretty sure,
You
Ms.
bring up an
Hernandez, you
interesting-
get tired. 12, you get tired. When is it gonna stop? Like, we need to just band together.
I don't get tired. You know why? Because I tell them to do their own stuff. I tell them to call. See, I tell them what to do. I don't do it for them because we're dealing with adults. So
Right.
I'm not their hero. They're their own hero. We got to help people look in the mirror and tell them that you're the change maker. The person that makes the change is you. You are the
Right.
change maker. I'm not there to do more than I'm supposed to do. I refer you to the place you're supposed to be referred to. You can give me documentation and so forth because I'm not the one that's on staff. And as I said before, I ran for a position and I did not get voted in. You have a process. We are in a democratic state. We have a democratic state here. We are supposed to, if we want to do something, we run, right? And the people are the ones with the power. And as a collective, the people voted the people that are in position in. And one of those people for Taft is Beverly McFarland. And Beverly has that Facebook page and lets people know in Taft if they want to go on the Facebook page. And people can't say, oh, people don't go online, because when it came to these people trying to take over these developments, they had nothing but Zoom meetings. When those people was meeting these 2 years, they've been doing Zoom meetings, NYCHA. So we can't say that these people are not taking into account that people are on social media. These people got to stop the games. And we as organizers, as activists, we got to make sure that when we're dealing with adults, not just when it comes to the teenagers, when it comes to the youth, or all of a sudden the 17-year-old or whatever is an adult. No, when it comes to an adult, the adults that we deal with, we have to teach them. We all are teachers. As advocates, we are teachers. And we have to teach them how to advocate for themselves. Nobody should be calling you at night and you shouldn't feel like you're tired. I'm not. I'm just letting you know, out of y'all can be tired all day. I'm not tired because I deal with adults. I work with grown people. And I expect the adult who took the time to get an apartment and be on the lease to continue to do what they need to do. And if the function that's in place isn't working, that's the problem. If they call CSS and it doesn't, that's the problem. But if they call, then they got to do it. Whoever's ever getting hired to do, let them do their job. That's what I'm on.
I know you're frustrated, 12, but sometimes I'm...
No, I'm not frustrated. It's about let the people who's employed do their job.
I'm not.
Let the people who's employed, who's getting a paycheck, do their job.
Yeah, but you're...
No, I get what you're saying. I get it. But from what I'm looking in, is that you got a lot of seniors that don't know how to use does not know how to use the internet, that doesn't even practically know the new age stuff. That's where...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think this is one of the reasons why we're having this whole meeting today, because the fact one of the reasons why people don't get involved because they don't know who to trust, right? We just talked about legal aid society, right? Yeah. Someone's coming at their door, you're coming in 12, you're saying stuff, right? But like, they don't believe me either, right? I thought it was because of the way I looked. Maybe I was overblowing it, right? Yeah. We need to start talking to each other. How can we really build this kind of, maybe it wasn't really just you. Does what I'm saying make sense, 12? Like, how can we really get this together where we build this trust?
They have the documentation. A lot of us are coming, we all about words. Nobody has the documentation. We need to start documenting this. Who did you talk to? What date, what time, and who did you talk to? A lot of people, if you notice, as advocates, everybody here knows, we talk to people, they don't know who they talk to. I said, who did you talk to? Somebody in the office. Who in the office? Who did you talk to in the office?
I got a quick question for you, okay? It sounds like you've been somewhat defensive of Barbara, which is I think fair. You made some good points. But you also took a picture recently of your Taft Houses Resident Association about how the office was closed. So it seems like you're also holding them accountable too. And you're like, oh, if someone...
I always like the whole whoever is in position accountable. I said, if you want to say that something's not open or whatever, tell me the date, time, and so forth. We take the picture so then they can either tell us the hours that they're open, make sure that people advocate and tell them, post the sign of the hours you're open. So nobody got to be confused. But we first got to address it and be accountable. A lot of people, they talk. We all say, we all need to work together. And we have a meeting and nobody comes to the meeting. Why didn't you come? Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know you had... it's so much bullshit, and it's all about us not being accountable. We got to make it accountability because it don't happen in the it doesn't happen in white environments or people are educated.
All right,
This
excuse
folder
me.
that I have. Wait, hold
Excuse
on,
me.
Mr. Hernandez. This folder that I have is all ticket numbers and everything. We do it like a page where we have to fill in all the information, all the ticket numbers, pictures. I keep a file. I keep a file on everything that we do because you know why? We do things and we do it because I do it because this is my neighborhood and this is where I'm born and raised. I'm going to tell everybody and teach everybody how to do things the right way and the legal way. If we can get you guys to be owners, and it trains y'all much more. Now, on top of that, in housing alone from 96th Street to 125th Street between 1st to 5th Avenue, we're worth $200 billion. 200 billion, not 200 million, 200 billion. Do you know that half of these people, even Assemblyman Gibb, don't even know that? On top of that, in housing, you got 6,583 pedophiles that live in housing, okay? From 96th Street to 125th Street to 1st to 5th Avenue. And these people, they know they're not supposed to be living in NYCHA. You got kids that their family members, we're talking about adults, that it's gang related. Do you know that if you get caught and they use your address, right? That they use your address, it goes to one PP, then it goes straight to housing. And they're getting you out. Do you know that? Because I don't live in housing.
DJ.
Yeah.
You came to my development and you came to my apartment.
I did.
And you met my tenants and they tell you themselves what they're going through. Second of all, I always document everything because it's my voice against NYCHA or against and I can identify with 12.
One thing I want to say too is, by the way, when I did other apartments in, and I always asked them about their tenant association president, by the way, and they had good things to say about it. They're like, Carmen Hernandez works hard. So whether it's right, people might be critics.
You're the diamond in the rough, honey.
I also talked to Carmen Quinones as well, right? Yeah, I know that she has. Today we talked to another lady who had some problems that she also illustrated, right? She was also supportive in a way too, right? I guess people don't want to go against. I understand that too, but also we see that her roof is still leaking 4 years later. So it's a mixed bag, but once again, right, I can corroborate that your tenants were supportive of you, and that's something that I do ask. So
because they trust her.
Go ahead.
That's why.
Yeah, but because I work hard, and let me tell you, they and DJ knows the problems that we've been having here. When I became TA president, I was first Latina. The other president is black, and she's been in the position for 15 years. And the tenants had enough because she wasn't doing nothing. And then when I became tenant president, I didn't believe it. When I moved in, they were telling me there's a lot of racism here between Latinos and black. I said, for real? When I became tenant president, I felt the heat. Let me tell you, she went and started defamation, my character. She got together with all the blacks and saying that I was racist against black. Because if you look at my history, there is no racism in my blood. Because where I live in Soundview, basically in that time, in the 80s and 90s that God had me working in the community, a lot of them was black. They were my kids. I'm very proud of them. And I even have a video there that I bumped into one of my kids that is black. And when we were in the pizzeria, and I was like, oh my God, how you doing? He goes, you saved my life. I said, what? He said he was gonna do something bad. And when I went to the block, he saw me, he blocked it and forgot about it. And I love these kids, and they're men and women now. So I understand 12 because it's true. A lot of tenants, it's sad that our own community, especially the poor, that we're feeling this way against each other when we're supposed to stick by each other. And let me tell you, she done everything evil to me, and I have this old document. That's why I learned. My sister taught me. She said, my nickname Tuti, document everything that you do And let me
Yeah.
tell you, when I do my meetings here, I make copies of signature. And let me tell you, when the trust came, my tenant that works in the hospital, I said, can you make me copies? She made me 50 Spanish and 50 English copy of the
That's how you're
trust.
supposed to do it.
And I went to every door and signature that I gave it to them. So they don't say, oh, I didn't know. You're right, 12.
That's
Oh, this.
excellent. Yes.
That's why
That's
I
what
have
that's all
Patricia,
people need to do. Unify. They need to all do that. See,
and
that's
let me tell
important.
you, let me tell you, the 12, 13
Okay.
years of being Senate president, I accomplished that. They stopped the madness, and now we're working together
Okay.
because
If I could just jump in for a second,
that's
yeah.
how it goes.
I have another interview coming up in like about 10 minutes. So I do, I think 12 really gave us the best description of like, you know, what needs to be done, you know, like activate the community.
everything
Like
needs to
that.
be
Yes,
done.
but DJ,
Okay.
this is
I'm giving
what I
everybody one
want.
last chance. Okay, go ahead.
DJ,
Yeah, I want to hear from you. Go ahead.
DJ, this is what I want you to do. If you could connect me with 12 and Miss Acevedo and whoever,
Not a
that we could
problem.
sit down and talk
I
and
even
tackle
come
these
down to your,
problems.
I even come down to where you live at, arroz con pollo y todo, and we could sit down. We could talk about everything because if we the people can do our own paperwork and say we the tenants of 1685 Strand Avenue want to be owners. The more people that sign that affidavit to become owners, the better shot that you guys have
And
to
you know
be
who's gonna
owners.
shine? And you know who's gonna shine? Not me, not 12, not Acevedo, our tenants. Because
That's
they're gonna
it.
speak. They're gonna say what's
They
going
have
on.
to.
So, Ms. 12, I hope you want to accept the invitation. I will
Yes,
definitely
I would. I
it'd be an
would.
honor.
Let me
It'd
go
be an
because
honor
we
to
can do
meet
that
you.
whole Honduras, everything. Yes. I
But
bring
you're
the
right.
bottle,
You're
don't
right, Miss
worry.
12. I feel you. I was in that passion. So, you know,
Yeah,
I definitely want to sit with you because we as a people, as Ms. Acevedo said, we have to do the work. We
that's
have
right.
to mobilize because you're right. A lot of these people they want to be chief, and I don't know why how God had blessed me and I became a public figure. It's the glory of God, but it's not because for
Amen.
me to shine. It's for my people to shine. You know, so
But
that's
Amen.
how
we're
I
losing,
flow.
before we end, I just want to say that we're losing our kids to the streets. We're losing places, senior places, childcare places. We're losing after school programs. We just looked at Children's Day, East Harlem Center and 101st between Lexington and Park. I fought tooth and nails for that. And we lost. You understand what I'm saying? So that is just like we're losing a lot of things that within housing, all the senior centers, all the after school programs. Everybody's just now just need to stop with the BS and just need to just work, like we said, Ms. Hernandez, that everybody we just need to have a roundtable discussion with district leaders, county committee people, just regular activists, and just like, yo, let's get this shit right. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And people need to know that we have to advocate more as a whole than not a whole, especially with the stuff that's going on with these migrants coming in here and giving them all this kind of other stuff that's going on. That's a whole nother ball of wax that we got to deal with. But I know that me and my peoples, Miss Emily Johnson, Debrell, myself, Kelmy Rodriguez, Will Smith, Crystal, like a whole bunch of other everybody's in the dynamics that I work with. We are rock stars. No matter how we call it, we rock out every chance that we possibly can get. And all we get is, you know what? I told you, we told you to do this. We told you, but you didn't listen. Now that the ball is hitting and everybody is falling in now, all these projects are up for sale. All of them. If everybody just do that petition saying we the tenants want to buy the apartments for this and this and this, grandfathers, even if you go to HUD, the TILD program, and say that, that's a match for them for 6,000 people to say the same thing. If 6,000 people can say 600,000 tenants can say 600,000 tenants can say the same thing, we the people want to buy our apartments, why not?
We have some
Why not?
we have presidential candidates who are going to try to help get this message out. Very cool. I really look forward to working with you. Once again, Joanna Acevedo, thank you again for running for county committee. That's what the rest of the people in public housing need to do, you know, and empower themselves. Emily Johnson, did you want to say anything before it's time to go?
And
Hi,
Miss
boo.
Acevedo handled it well. Hi, baby.
You already know I'm the spokesperson when I'm off my leash. Good day.
Okay. It would be nice to hear from Cesar. Is that all you want to say, Emily? Anything else?
No, I just
Okay.
hope and pray that, like, to piggyback off what Ms. Acevedo did say, we've been
Okay.
all at this a long time,
I still have more
and
questions about the.
and
I'm
you know,
sorry.
and what's so sad about it is that it's like you can't even unify amongst ourselves.
Amen.
You understand what I'm saying? If we can't unify amongst ourselves, how are we going to ask people to follow us?
Amen.
You can't keep asking people to follow us, and we can't all seem to get it together. If we're all going for the same cause, then that means it's more power in numbers than division.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen. Amen to that. Yeah.
All right. Last thing I want to
Amen.
say. Okay. You guys know an organization called UFAD?
No.
No.
Okay. Well,
And
they were.
like,
You could look them. United Front Against the Placement. They had some They had some events going at Coney Island with some decent turnout, right? Which is overall good, but then they disappeared, right? And the thing is that we have to know that while outsiders can help us, right? Yeah, eventually they have other priorities. They're going to go home, but you have to really look. People like Joanne who've been working for a long time, right? But so in the end, you're going to be left with what you have and what you fight for. So it's your ass on
amen.
the line, and you guys got to step up. Whoever's blah blah. We're not going to get anything perfect. Just try to use what you can. Know we're not going to agree on everything, but know once again, know what's really important. I love joining and Emily. I'm working with you too. I champion the same idea. The tenants
All
are
day.
supposed to own the property. The tenants are supposed to have the value. They've been living there for generations. It belongs to you. I'm with you in that fight, and I'm so happy for you coming today. I hope that we can have more conversations, work more together. I can't wait to be on One Nightcha and work more together. Yeah.
I know I gotta do a funeral arrangement now as soon as I get off on here too. Yeah, and I do funerals too.
Sorry to hear that.
So
Yeah.
I'm all rounded and work at a hotel. So I'm everything. But this is my home and this is where we need to fight for and be as one, not as two. If you can buy a Burke bag or you can buy Louis Vuitton bag for $5,000, hello, you can put up $2,500 to buy your apartment.
Yeah.
So I
That's
don't see
right.
what the disconnect is,
Yeah. I
respectfully.
agree with that so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, cool. I'm gonna just hit end the stream. I think I'm pretty much done. I'll end the stream.
We definitely come